Okay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I hope you guys are doing well. It's been a very long time since I have done a Bitcoin analysis, maybe like 35 days or more. But yes, with regards to our probabilities, we've started to come into them. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to start on the 45 day, because it's been quite a while, and then work my way down. And what you guys will more than likely see there is the 45 day, the 21 day, the 14 day, and the 7 day. So it's all up to what Bitcoin's doing on the 7 day with regards to our Laplace distribution cones. On the 7 day, we'll either decide if the 14 day, 21 day, 45 day remain in a bullish posturing. Just keep a side note of this little purple thing here, or yellow thing here. That's when the new time frame prints. So this is a little bit awkward as they're all sort of like halfway in between each other. I'm not going to say that could lead to continuation, but it could lead to very noisy price action. And if Bitcoin is strong enough at these levels, it would go sideways. Okay, so a consolidation period until I think about the 21 day. I think the 21 day prints in 5 days, and then we get serious direction from the 21 day. And then this is the 1 minute cone. I have a 15-minute cone put in here as well. And yeah, I'm doing this analysis for myself more so that I can watch it tomorrow or the next day and just see where all my what my time frames are saying at these prices as Bitcoin starts to give up the chase here. Oh, it's been a big range today, like 91 to 94 grand or whatever, but I would like to see what these higher term time frame indicators are saying. Okay, so 45 days, got another 30 days worth of life in it, and it's currently mean reverting to the upside. We have no volatility data, unfortunately, on this. DLP has hit an outlier, if I have that correct. So that can start to slow this upward price action down. And if it very rarely does actually come up and hit these higher term 45 days. But if it was to get the legs and just hold above, just call it 71 grand, you can see a Bitcoin at 145 grand off of this RO signal with a hidden bull div playing through. So let's see if there's anything that's going to negate that or back that as we start to drop onto these lower term time frames. Okay, so the 21 days got 5 days to print. Very important to me. I like the 5 day time frames, and I love the 21 day. All right, you don't want to be on the wrong side of this thing, at least the RO on the 21 day. So the RO is telling me we still do technically have a little bit of continuation. The reason why it hasn't triggered red, first off, there's big candles, so it's going to take a big candle to set it red, but it's stuck in entropy trend, so it is still trending to the upside with positive drift, which would mean and tell me that as long as I'm seeing this signal here on the far right, this positive drift, and it doesn't break in any of the dumps, Bitcoin will be bought up. The moment I see this break, so the current price is, let's just say, $93,400. The moment I see this thing trigger back in, or these PCs fold around, then I know, at least on the 21 day, that shit's about to hit the fan. But you're going to have to give it another 21 days. Okay, so the 14 days saying similar thing, but it started to lose its trend with this little candle. In order to keep it in this trend, you would literally need a candle double the size. It would be a percentage move. So that's just call it like, it has to be a 60 grand candle. So that puts us there at 145 to keep it in the trend from here. I don't necessarily see that happening, but it is Bitcoin. It can do whatever it likes. So the RO is actually also closing with the 14 days closing with the 21 day time frame in 5 days and 6 hours. So that will give us a very good signal. Like I'm going to have to note that. Hey, why is this camera dropping off? So I'd have to note that and just keep it in the back of my mind for the next 5 days. So there is still some positive drift coming in here, which is the reason why these ROs and the DLPs haven't had the legs to actually make this thing a doji as of yet. Okay, so as I said earlier in the beginning of this video, all these time frames are matching up with the 7 day cone, and I haven't really been one to use the 7 day cone for about the last 6 months. But as you can see, it does pretty well, telling you the tops and the bottoms, okay? Moral of the story, if Bitcoin can hold above, we'll just open this one. This is a cone that's no skew, okay? So long story short, if Bitcoin can hold above $91,000, give or take $200 on whatever exchange you're looking at, 91,007, just call it $91,500. If it can hold above there, it could do it now or could do it for the next 2 or 3 months. But if it holds above this pink line, I would consider that very bullish. If it starts to fail this pink line on the no skew cone, I would look for another touch down to 45. All right, anywhere in between, so that's a mean reversion down here. Furthermore, I'd look for $33,000. All right, pink to pink is the rule I play. But anything here can stop that, so that'd be a $70,000, let's call it $71,000 by the time it gets there, a $62,500, $48,500, and here, $45,300. So if we fail this pink, that's where I'd initially see us to go, okay? And what we can see here is you could technically say that this pink line on the 7-day is the mean reversion of this RO. So if this fatter line on the RO crosses down, I would know that Bitcoin is below this pink line. So it's like this is the mean, and that's it displayed on the candlesticks. All right. So here's quite an interesting one. As you can see that the one on the left, the pink on the left, can be the mean here. This pink on this cone can be the top side of this and the DLP's outliers. Okay, so you start closing, we'll just give that price. I think I gave it, was it 91,500? So you fail below here, we get continuation to the downside, 91,500. Close below, you open up, start closing below 95,600, and Bitcoin has the follow through. All right, so the 7-day, the 5-day, this is still the 7-day. The 7-day, the 14-day, and the 21-day, they all close on the same date at the same time. Okay, so there's maybe 5 more days of Bitcoin fuckery before I would maybe start considering anyone else's long-term targets. Okay, there can be a lot of noise here. What's our 5-day saying? Oh wait, what's this thing stuck in? So the volatility rule here is saying 50-50, okay? And it's going to be 50-50 in between these two targets. This is the simplest way to look at any long-term stuff. Is going to be 50-50 between 95,700 and 91,500, okay? If it closes above there, then this PC is more than likely going to push it back into pump mode. If this starts closing below here, that gray PC then starts to push it into dump mode, okay? It is now moving into a random walk, so it's going to be choppy price action, and it's looking for a mean. I wouldn't really know where to define it on this cone. I'd mark it in the middle, pretty much where we're at here right now. Let's see if the JMA is in the area, okay? We'll use the JMA as the mean. I won't be able to get it though. Yeah. So it's just below. Okay, so the mean is around about $95,000. That's where it's more than likely trying to sit safe. Okay, so 7 days done. Hope that was very helpful for you guys. Now we're on to the 5-day. This is something that I like to take action on, as it's a little bit tighter of a cone, and it's been very good because it's been a new flash in this consolidation area here from April 30th, 2024. Okay, so long story short, man. This thing wants to go from pink to pink. It did, as you can see. As I said earlier, if it holds these pink lines, okay, if it holds these pink lines, doesn't matter how long it takes. This one took about four tries. Holds these pink lines, I still believe it being bullish. Now, Bitcoin's come up and it's usually blue to blue, but it didn't touch blue down here. So it's come up and it's hit these targets here, and it's sort of stuck in between a place that I don't really like. All right, like I don't really like this on the 1 minute, this region here. I'd prefer it in 2 or 3 candles to either decide its direction. So this doesn't really help me, but in the sense that this RO is pointing down, and as we can see with the same 7-day nonsense, that this white line is that mean, okay? Here we're going to put on this cone. This cone is a little bit better, but what we can see is it obviously ground out here. We'll just move that there so you can see that the pinks match up. So ground out here on these pinks, okay, which is that pink over there, so highly statistically significant level, and it's pushed itself up. Naturally, I would want a retest on this 5-day cone at 90,500. So you can see where that starts to match up with our 7-day Laplace cone. If it fails here, I do look for a mean reversion touch to 85. Furthermore, let's see if there are any colors that are coming in. Pinks, nothing's really matching up. We've got a downside color, nothing too gravy. So it's usually pink to pink. All right, fail 90,600. Back to the mean, 85. Fail there, you have any one of these targets to the downside. 81, 700, 77,000, and 69,600. Okay, if this was to remain in a bullish posturing to the upside from here, the first two targets I'd be looking at is $1,000 and $105,000 and 107, just call it $118,000 for a Bitcoin. We'll just have to see if Bitcoin can hold above these ones here. 95,000 on the 7-day, 95,600 holds above there, cool. Holds above 91,500, cool. Can still be in a bullish posturing, but you fail these guys, then the next immediate target would be this mean reversion here at about 80, just call it $85,000. Okay, let me just do a quick run here on this volatility. That's positive drift, that's positive drift, that's 50-50, that's 50-50. 3-day is moving into negative drift, so that's telling me anything that's going to be bought up will be sold into, given this is a doji, which would make actual perfect sense, as this is just starting its mission through to carry on selling into any pumps. What do I have here? Now I have a 24-hour. Let me just turn this VRE off. Okay, 24-hour targets. What are we looking at here? We're losing the positive drift. Okay, in order to maintain positive drift, I would want Bitcoin to hold above $94,335. Hold above there. This thing can still carry on in positive drift, but its initial target from one side of the orange bands to the other side of the orange bands is somewhere in here, 89,000, just call it $700 by the time it prints and gets there. Okay, I would be looking for a Bitcoin down here. As you can see here, we have a untouched VRE, and these are very important for me. These dotted lines here, so that's sitting at just shy $87,800. Okay, I would expect Bitcoin to come into there and try to touch that. Top side of that weekly is a wick below these oranges, so this is starting to build confluence for me to the downside here. Anything bullish, I'd have to start picking it out on these lower term time frames. So at least on these higher term time frames, I'm going to wait 5 days before I go and say balls to the walls, the bears are here and they're ready to fuck the bulls. All right. Right now, I'm thinking a little bit of consolidation. Okay, so this 12-hour cone shouldn't be on. I haven't set it, so it's got no relevancy. Yeah, okay. So 12 hours again, everything's in 50-50. The momentum oscillators are wanting to turn around. This is trying to turn around under bear div. Okay, had a good hit today, as you can see. Quite a big move, actually. 91,800 to 94,000, just shy. So about a $2,900 move that Bitcoin was able to do, but it failed its daily VRE mean. Okay, so the saving grace for the bulls would be to hold it above this, pretty much where it's exactly at here, maybe minus $100. So this is on max. Hold above $92,780 for the next 12-hour print, then you'll have the opportunity to carry on pushing back up to the upside. So this has fallen. The saving grace could also be for the bulls, would be if it does print below that price, tomorrow we'll have a magnet, more than likely somewhere here in the $93,500 range. as long as it can hold above 92,000, pretty much flat on the 12 hour. Okay, so we are getting a bounce at this ultimate power mean. Let me just turn these VREs off so you guys can just see a little bit clearer. All right, we are getting a bounce at these ultimate power means. If it can hold this power mean, it would have to, maybe on the next print will be somewhere here, $95,935. I would expect if it can carry on holding above here, it does want to push into that, just call it 95,000. Okay, that wouldn't be a bit hard. This is, so just call it $95,800, give or take $100 there on the 12 hour. All right, close above there, close above these things. Yeah, you still have bullish posturing. As soon as you start failing $91,944, or it would be the bottom of this candle, 92,303, start failing that price for a good 18 hours, I'm starting to roll into Bitcoin being bearish. Okay, what can we see here? So that's a 6 hour. This is, okay, 12 hour is actually in a sneaky pump mode. All right, interestingly enough. But what's beating its ass up is something we'll have to find. It might be like a 3 hour. Okay. It will be the momentum oscillators on the high term time frames, and then we'll see if there's like a 3 hour that's got like a negative drift. But currently the 6 hour, as this is dumping, it hasn't lost, because this 6 hours pretty much just printed. So when I started this 20 minutes ago. So as it's dumping, it's not losing that correlation as fast as I would expect. Okay, so if Bitcoin can hold, I'm guessing, above its previous candle here at 92,321. If it can hold above there or close above there, these PCs can still keep it in positive drift. Okay, what can we see here? Hidden bull div is wanting to form, but that's going to be a toughie. It's going to have to hold above the JMA that's hidden in the back here that I won't be able to grab. Can I pull you forward? Anyway, so that's the line, $92,700. Okay, holds above there. This positive drift, so small candles to the upside on the low term time frames, will be allowed to play through. All right, what do we got here? We got the 3 hour. 3 hours coming off of a hidden bear div, like multiple hidden bear divs, and hidden bear divs are a continuation signal to the downside. So yeah, you start losing these orange bands here, maybe back down into 91,644. Okay, you start losing this current price action here at 92,600. You're into 91,674. Start failing that. There are some. My initial target would be 87,700. I would feel like that's a good place for it to end up eventually. If we want $100 million gazillion Bitcoin, you've got to clear those untouched weeklies out. Okay, 90 minutes, dump mode has been activated. DLPs are going to follow through. I think this thing's going to go back and double check these wicks. It's still got quite a lot of legs to play through to the downside. 91,642 would be my initial pit stop if we can't start closing above 92,820. Okay, now we're going to put it on the 45 minute. Ooh, what was that one saying? Yeah, that's dump mode. 45 minute is in negative drift, so that's backing. There's the 3 hour, that's backing the 90 minute. All right, there's a little bit of a dump mode coming in here. Obviously, Bitcoin is very erratic, so this might, all this price action, anything below, let's just say that 12 hour can evaporate quite quickly. It's going to have a half-life, this analysis. Okay, 45 minutes in negative drift. I am initially looking for that target. Any closes above 92,666. I would look for a pushback up at least into 93,936, more than likely up here to 94,274, as there's a zone of liquidity building there. Now let's go throw on our Laplace distribution cones on the 15 minute. Okay, so we haven't really hit anything here. Yeah, that makes sense. What was that? 9274. Is that what I was saying? That would be that hold above that blue line. Okay, so if Bitcoin was to be bullish, it really wants to hold inside this cone, and I think that's just where that VRE level is. Okay, so it really wants to hold inside this cone. If we can hold inside this cone and just like have erratic fucking 15-minute candles, technically it goes from this blue line all right, 92,940, back into that mean, which is where, am I getting colorblind? Oh, it's got a negative skew on it. So it wants to get back up to 98, but from blue line to blue line, outside blue line to outside blue line is $101,000, 362. 101,362. I think I'm just going to say it like that, okay? So this is trying its best, and I think this is what I would start scalping, like if I want to get major direction on the lower term time frames, okay? Is this thing in the right place? Yeah, okay. So what can we see here? This one, it hasn't broken the model, all right, which starts to push it below those other VREs, but we are starting to get that bounce. So any continuation to the upside, if this was to stay strong, I would expect it from 93,200 back into 95,079. Any VREs up here? Yes, that's just as the daily comes in, will it get there? So that's more than likely a target that's going to be set in the next 2 hours. It becomes viable, but you have to get above both of these colorful lines. Okay, so get above both of these colorful lines. What's this one saying? 92908, and then 9319. All right, so a little bit of a death trap zone here, as both have got a negative skew. That's got a negative skew, as both cones have a negative skew. So that would mean I'd be looking for lower highs, at least until volatility hits zero again on the 15-minute. I wouldn't be looking for Bitcoin to necessarily break this previous high, but I do know the rule is blue to blue. So knowing that under cone and negative skew, its mean reversion is below the previous high, and that's sort of what I'd be targeting for. Maybe if I get a perfect buy down here and I wake up tomorrow morning and it's fucking 98 grand. But if we can hold inside this cone, initial target would be $96,000. And if we can hold inside this cone, I've got a 96 here, just shy. So that's about where the daily VRE is. Okay, no colors matching up here, unfortunately. It's going to be quite hard to trade. Let's go into US dominance. Let's just put this thing on the 24-hour. So as USDT dominance goes up, Bitcoin goes down, and so do your alts. So let's just see what this one's saying. So 24-hour is saying pump mode. It's wanting to. This would be the one reason why I'd be bearish on Bitcoin. It still wants to go and jump into its untouched daily VRE over here. Furthermore, like Bitcoin, as these have untouched daily VREs to the upside, I'll just double click this, make this big. As Bitcoin has untouched VREs to the downside, USDT has untouched daily VREs, monthly, weekly VREs to the upside. So initial would be 4.36%. If we get there, this yellow one down here at 87,740 Bitcoin, that yellow is for that yellow. And then there's one at 4.86%. And then I'm sure there's one higher. So these have remained untouched since about the beginning of this bull run. That one, I wouldn't count that even. That's 5.95. So if we do start clearing, if we start holding above 4.36 US dominance, I do look for Bitcoin to be bearish. And we've already set those targets. So as this thing comes up, we can go look at the dates. Let's just see. Is that touched monthly? That is a touched monthly. Let's just go look at some dates here. So we'll pull this price, 11th of October, 2024, 11th of October. Where's that? Wow. 11th of October is quite a far way away. All right. I'd be looking for this untouched VRE down here. As this starts to get very complex. 11th of October is here, and that matches up with that daily VRE at 62 grand. Okay. If you found this information helpful, please do like and subscribe. And yeah, Hopefully I should start to get into some scalps now. Hopefully I can be fast enough. Maybe try catch this a little long. Goes against me, a couple dollars, I'll be out. Furthermore, if it doesn't bounce here, I'll take it here at 92206. And yeah, any one of the other colors in between that you see, I'll be scalping long. But this does look like it can start to get quite aggressive to the downside if it doesn't hold this pink line. Cool. Much power. Stay fucking wow. African Crypto Warlord out.